Man, are you tired of the AAA games you play every day? The Witcher, Skyrim, Elden Ring, Dark Souls, those super mainstream titles? Are you already burnt out on them? Today, I want to bring you a list of games that, in my opinion, deserve way more attention, should be played a lot more, but unfortunately get left behind. So I want to introduce these games to you so that maybe you'll get interested and give them a chance. So without further delay, let's jump into the video. Number 1 is Jusant. Kicking off this list is a game that is a pure shot of adrenaline and atmosphere. Jusant. I know, it's a calm game, but it completely flew under the radar because it focuses on a mechanic most games treat as secondary: climbing. The core gameplay loop is meditative and incredibly satisfying. You play as a traveler climbing a massive vertical tower, and the controls, using the triggers to alternate your left and right hands, create an amazing tactile connection to the ascent. It's not just holding a button, it's an active rhythm-based challenge. The narrative is delivered entirely through environmental storytelling. You find notes and artifacts that hint at the civilization that once lived on the tower, and that sense of quiet discovery is beautiful. There's no combat, no rush, just you and the climb. I personally spent hours just marveling at the sheer scale and art direction of the tower, and the feeling of mastering a complex section without falling is truly rewarding. Jusant is an essential experience because it proves that a simple, perfectly executed mechanical concept can deliver a profound, unforgettable adventure. 2. Shadow of the Colossus. Next up, we have an absolute masterpiece that far too many younger gamers haven't touched. Shadow of the Colossus isn't just a game, it's a profound, essential piece of interactive art that focuses entirely on epic scale and emotional weight. The core loop is intentionally minimalist. Find a Colossus, kill it, and repeat. But the scale and execution of these encounters are what make them unforgettable. Every Colossus is a massive, living environmental puzzle that you have to figure out how to climb and subdue. The sense of solitude and emotional ambiguity is the lasting hook. There are no towns, no side quests, just you, your horse aggro, and the 13 towering creatures. The narrative is deeply powerful because it forces you to confront the moral cost of your quest. I remember the sheer terror of climbing my first Colossus, clinging to its fur while the physics engine tried to shake me off. The cinematic quality and the incredible soundtrack make every battle feel legendary. If you want a game that gives you a truly unique, emotionally heavy, and unforgettable experience, this is the one. 3. Control. Okay, let's talk about a game that delivers high-concept sci-fi and the best physics sandbox combat of the last generation: Control. This game is a must-play that got completely overshadowed by bigger releases. The core value is the sheer mechanical satisfaction of being a psychic badass. As Jesse Faden, you gain incredible powers like levitation and telekinetic launch. That launch mechanic where you rip concrete from the walls and hurl it at enemies is a 10 out of 10 action loop that never gets old. Beyond the fun gunplay, the narrative design is top tier. The lore of the Federal Bureau of Control, the AWEs, and the unsettling nature of the oldest house create a mood of psychological immersion that is totally unique. The use of live action video segments adds brilliant texture to the story. I personally spent hours just watching the environment crumble and reshape due to the hiss infection. The environmental destruction is a huge technical feat. Control is an essential single-player experience because it's a smart, stylish, and incredibly satisfying game that deserves way more of your attention. 4. Sifu. Rounding out this block, we have a game that is a brutal, beautiful, and essential investment in skill-based melee combat: Sifu. This game proves that you don't need a massive open world to deliver an unforgettable, deep experience.
The core mechanic is the aging system and the tight martial arts combat. Every time you die, your character ages, making you stronger but reducing your total health. This creates an incredibly high-stakes roguelite pressure where every fight matters. The combat system is phenomenal. It focuses on mastering parries, dodges, and environmental takedowns. The flow of clearing a room full of enemies with fluid combos and instant environmental finishing moves is a high-level kinetic reward. I remember spending an entire evening just trying to clear the club stage without getting too old. The level design is linear but incredibly dense, pushing you to master every corner. Sifu is a must-play because it's a brilliant, focused piece of skill-based action that will challenge you, reward you, and make you feel like a martial arts master.
Next up is a game that is a massive undertaking in terms of immersive, punishing survival. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2: Heart of Chernobyl. If you love deep, atmospheric shooters, this is a must-play that the mainstream audience often overlooks. The core mechanic that makes this unique is the relentless survival simulation set in the terrifying Chernobyl exclusion zone. You're constantly dealing with radiation, hunger, unique anomalies, and brutal, realistic ballistic combat. The level of systemic detail makes every excursion high stakes. The narrative hook is the blend of science fiction and genuine post-Soviet dread. You're a stalker navigating a massive, non-linear world where strange artifacts and deadly mutated creatures lurk everywhere. The environmental storytelling is top tier. I am personally obsessed with the faction system and the ability to choose your alliances in the zone. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 is an essential experience because it's a raw, beautiful, and deeply immersive open-world survival FPS that demands skill and respect for its harsh world.
Six, Kena: Bridge of Spirits. Let's move to a game that is pure visual magic and a fantastic blend of platforming and combat. Kena: Bridge of Spirits. This is an indie title that has the production quality of a Pixar movie, and it got criminally ignored by the big AAA hype machine. The core value is the stunning art direction and the emotional story. You play as Kena, a spirit guide, using adorable little creatures called rots to solve environmental puzzles and restore a beautiful, decaying world. The visuals alone are worth the price of admission. The combat system is deceptively deep. It's an action-adventure where you use Kena's staff and spirit abilities mixed with the rot's distracting capabilities. Mastering the parry and dodge mechanics is crucial, especially in the challenging boss fights. My favorite part, the sheer satisfaction of watching the rots grow and help you in combat and exploration. Kena is a must-play because it's a brilliant example of a tight, polished, single-player adventure that delivers incredible visual fidelity and a surprisingly challenging and rewarding combat loop. 7. Bloodborne. You absolutely have to play this game at least once in your life for its unmatched atmosphere and aggressive combat philosophy. Bloodborne. From Software took the Souls formula and injected it with Victorian Gothic horror and pure, unfiltered adrenaline. The core mechanic that makes this unique is the regain system. The game forces you to not hide behind a shield. If you take damage, you have a brief window to regain health by hitting the enemy back. This promotes aggressive, high-stakes risk versus reward combat that is unlike any other game in the genre. The narrative and lore are incredible. The world of Yharnam, with its descent from gothic horror into cosmic Lovecraftian terror, is a profound piece of environmental storytelling that you'll spend hours trying to piece together. I remember the sheer terror of hearing the cleric beasts roar for the first time. Bloodborne is essential because it is a masterpiece of atmospheric design, brutal difficulty, and a unique skill-based combat system that will redefine your expectations for action games.
8. Far Cry 4:
Rounding out this block, let's go back to a game that often gets overshadowed by its more chaotic predecessors and sequels, but delivers a fantastic open-world experience, Far Cry 4. This one is essential for its setting and its villain. The core value is the verticality of the Himalayan setting, Kyrat. Unlike the flat islands of the previous game, FC4 uses grappling hooks and gyrocopters to make traversal a core mechanic. Climbing the massive radio towers is still a terrifying and rewarding experience. The gameplay loop is pure Far Cry, massive outpost liberation and systemic chaos. The ability to use the local wildlife, like riding elephants into enemy camps, creates amazing emergent gameplay moments that you won't find anywhere else. And of course, Pagan Min. Troy Baker delivers an unforgettable villain that hooks you instantly with his charisma and menace. Far Cry 4 is a must-play because it's a perfectly tuned open-world shooter that delivers high-octane action, a memorable antagonist, and a truly unique, beautiful environment. 9. Lies of P. Next up is a game that is a phenomenal testament to how great Souls-like design can be when executed with a unique vision. Lies of P. If you played this, you know why it's a must-play. If you haven't, you're missing out on one of the best action RPGs of the last few years. The core mechanic that makes this unforgettable is the aggressive, high-stakes parry system and the weapon assembly mechanic. You combine different blade and handle parts to create unique movesets, offering insane build variety and mechanical depth that surpasses many of its peers. The visual aesthetic is the biggest hook. It's a gorgeous, dark take on the Pinocchio story, set in a haunting Belle Epoque city filled with terrifying, aggressive automatons. The atmosphere is thick, and the environmental storytelling is top-notch. I personally spent hours trying to perfect the perfect guard timing on some of the game's brutal boss fights. The rewarding feeling of finally mastering a difficult encounter is why Lies of P is an essential experience. It's a smart, beautiful, and deeply satisfying game that proves the genre is alive and well. 10. Silent Hill F. Now let's move on to a game that has been generating huge buzz because of its unique setting and its promise to bring psychological horror back to the spotlight, Silent Hill F. Set in a 1960s Japan that is both beautiful and terrifying, the game delivers a narrative and aesthetic experience unlike anything else. The main highlight is the blend of Japanese folk horror with the series' signature psychological dread. The visuals, combining serene beauty with grotesque flower-based corruption, suggest a deeply disturbing and artistic direction. The gameplay is focused and atmospheric, emphasizing puzzle solving, resource management, and vulnerability instead of action. The setting, a remote, isolated town, creates environmental tension and uses sound design to deliver unforgettable fear. Personally, I really liked the game. I know it's different from the classic Silent Hill titles, but Silent Hill F becomes a must-play so that you can draw your own conclusions about it, rather than relying only on video analyses. You should experience it yourself and form your own opinion about the game. "11. The first Berserker, Khazan. Next up, we have an absolute gem that is flying under the radar, but promises to be one of the most intense action RPGs of the year, the first Berserker, Khazan. This is pure, unfiltered spectacle built around aggression and mechanical depth. The core mechanic that makes this essential is the Berserker state combat. The fighting is brutal, fast, and focuses on high-damage combos and stylish, aggressive counters. The visual fidelity and particle effects make every swing of the massive sword feel incredibly weighty and satisfying. The game utilizes a rage/corrosion system that encourages you to take risks and stay on the offensive. This creates a relentless, high-stakes risk-reward loop where playing defensively often leads to disaster. I'm obsessed with the art style. It's a beautiful, dark fantasy take on the Dungeon Fighter Online universe. Khazan is a must-play because it's a focused, high-performance character action game that rewards mastery, style, and brutal aggression.
Number 12, Resident Evil Village. Wrapping up this block, we have a game that's essential for its huge variety of horror and its incredible scale, Resident Evil Village. This game blends survival, action, and horror. I know a lot of people hated this new approach, and because of that, didn't even bother playing it. I'll admit the enemies felt strange to me at first. Werewolves and all that, not to mention the game's villains, which is something that really annoyed a lot of players. One thing I didn't agree with was taking the best area of the game, Dimitrescu's castle, and making it the first boss you face, ending her arc so early. They should have explored her much more, but aside from that, Village is a good game. The real strength here is the massive environmental and thematic variety. In one moment, you're hiding from the fast, terrifying Lycan horde. In the next, you're solving puzzles in the creepy, psychological House Beneviento sequence. That constant shift between different horror subgenres makes the experience unforgettable. The gameplay loop is perfect. You're constantly upgrading your weapons, managing your inventory with the Duke, and exploring the large, intricate central village. The first-person perspective makes every encounter feel intense and terrifying. I remember the huge relief after surviving Castle Dimitrescu, only to be thrown into a completely different and even darker environment right after. Resident Evil Village is a must-play because it's a brilliant, explosive horror adventure that constantly reinvents itself and delivers non-stop tension and spectacle from start to finish.
(13) Metro 2033 Redux. Kicking off the final 6, we have a game that is essential for its pure, unfiltered immersion and atmosphere, Metro 2033 Redux. This is the definitive way to experience the terrifying start of the Metro saga. The core mechanic here is the relentless survival simulation set in the post-apocalyptic Moscow subway system. You are constantly battling resource scarcity, your currency is your ammo, and managing your gas mask filters, which creates constant, palpable tension and vulnerability. The narrative is dark, philosophical, and deeply personal, based on Dmitry Glukovsky's novel. The world feels incredibly real, with distinct factions, haunting supernatural elements, and fantastic environmental storytelling in the decaying tunnels. I personally remember the sheer terror of venturing to the surface, where every minute was a race against the timer on my oxygen tank. Metro 2033 Redux is a must-play because it's a brilliant piece of atmospheric survival FPS that delivers a chilling, unforgettable narrative experience. (14) Yakuza 0. Next up, we have a game that is absolutely mandatory for its epic crime narrative and its massive value proposition, Yakuza 0. This is the perfect entry point to this series and a non-stop masterclass in storytelling and content density. The core value is the balance between intense, emotional crime drama and absolute ridiculous sandbox silliness. The main story, following Kazuma Kiryu and Goro Majima, is heavy and brilliantly written, but you can take a break to manage a cabaret club or help a kid get their video game back. That tonal whiplash is the hook. The combat system is pure satisfaction, a brilliant beat-em-up where both protagonists have 3 distinct fighting styles you can switch between on the fly. Mastering the style-switching mechanic is an immediate reward. I spent countless hours running my cabaret club, a full-on management sim, because the content is so deep. Yakuza 0 is essential because it delivers an unforgettable narrative, endless side content, and one of the most engaging brawler combat systems in gaming. (15) BioShock Infinite. If you want a game that is essential for its mind-bending narrative and unique setting, you have to play BioShock Infinite. This sequel takes the series' trademark philosophical depth and puts it in the stunning, terrifying floating city of Colombia. The core mechanic that makes this game unique is the skyline traversal. Zipping across the massive environment on roller coaster-like rails while engaging in mid-air combat is a dizzying, kinetic experience that is instantly addictive and unlike anything else in the genre. The narrative hook is this stunning plot centered around Booker DeWitt, Elizabeth, and the concepts of parallel realities and constants and variables. The story is deeply complex, beautifully written, and leads to one of the most famous and mind-blowing endings in gaming history. I remember the sheer awe of the initial ascent to Colombia. BioShock Infinite is a must-play because it's a brilliant piece of first-person shooter design mixed with an unforgettable, thought-provoking philosophical narrative. (16) Titanfall 2. Let's talk about the game that is arguably the best first-person shooter campaign ever created, which sadly didn't get the attention it deserved. Titanfall 2. This is a mechanical masterpiece that everyone needs to experience. The core value here is the unmatched fluidity of movement and the dynamic contrast in scale. The parkour system, wall running, double jumping, and sliding, is the most satisfying form of FPS traversal available. That feeling of maintaining momentum is instantly addictive. The campaign is a masterclass in level design, constantly introducing new, brilliant mechanical concepts that are immediately discarded for the next one. The seamless transition between being a fast, agile pilot and piloting the massive Titan BT-7274 is unforgettable. The entire effect and cause mission is an absolute work of genius. Titanfall 2 is essential because it is a flawless, focused single-player FPS that pushes the boundaries of level design innovation and delivers one of the most genuine man and machine relationships in gaming. Next up, we have a game that is the definitive experience of a classic crime story, Mafia Definitive Edition. This isn't an open-world sandbox, it's a focused, cinematic narrative set in the gorgeous, recreated 1930s city of Lost Heaven. The core value is the narrative fidelity and atmosphere. The remake meticulously recreates the original story of Tommy Angelo, delivering an emotional, high-stakes crime drama with incredible performance capture and visual detail. The atmosphere of the Prohibition era is palpable. The gameplay loop is tight and focused, emphasizing linear missions that are packed with brilliant set pieces and third-person shooting. The driving physics are spot on for the era, and the pacing is perfect, ensuring the story never stalls. I remember the incredible effort they put into the visuals of Lost Heaven. Mafia Definitive Edition is a must-play because it's a brilliant example of a narrative-first single-player experience that completely immerses you in a dark, unforgettable world. (18) Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And finally, we close out this essential list with a game that perfectly captures the Jedi power fantasy, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. This sequel refined the formula and delivered an unforgettable action-adventure experience that every gamer must try. The core value is the seamless integration of Souls-like combat depth with incredible open-world traversal. The addition of new force powers and lightsaber stances gives you a massive mechanical sandbox to explore, making the combat feel incredibly fluid and versatile. The narrative is a massive leap, dealing with high emotional stakes and Cal Kestis's internal struggle. The exploration loop is huge, with massive planets like Kobo encouraging verticality and discovery using your enhanced abilities. I personally loved mastering the blaster stance, mixing lightsaber action with ranged combat. Jedi Survivor is essential because it delivers a massive, polished, and satisfying single-player action RPG that is the best way to experience life as a powerful Jedi. So, there you have it, folks. 18 single-player games you haven't played,
but should. From the brutal realism of Metro 2033 to the kinetic joy of Titanfall 2 and the pure story gold of Yakuza 0, these are the experiences you absolutely need. Which game on this list are you downloading tonight? And what amazing single-player gem did I overlook? Let me know in the comments below.